Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
12 tribes, Israel, sons of Jacob, hitting them hard like this.
When the saints go marching into Armageddon, countless amounts of blood that we shed, 200 million angels, 144,000 children, rolling, stomping, one Lord, bringing swords into slavery. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts, or no maybes. Either you're rolling, get right, or where the bomb goes.
Well, it's the fall of Babylon, so the troops can get to travel on to the land mass that was promised. But first, this place gotta get demolished. 144 getting polished, swinging swords to abolish all the chaos, mayhem, confusion plus the fury. Judgment without the jury produces prophecy, produces history, produces this is we taking over the spot. They get shot down like fools from off the block for running up on your block, but not ready to receive the mark of the knowledge. Getting dotted up with rockets, the spiritual power given the prophets, headed up by the Savior. Getting ready to enslave ya.
When the saints go marching into Armageddon, countless amounts of blood that we shed, 200 million angels, 144,000 chosen, rolling, stomping, one Lord, bringing swords into slavery. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts, or no maybes. Either you roll or get rock, or when the bomb goes.
Flying chariots, clouds by day and sparks by night, devastating whole realms in mid-flight. But I seen the skies crack, the world surprised that, denied that the angels in Christ will fly that, but it's them, dressed in white, drenched in blood, call for the thugs and the dead rise from the mud. They rise up, raise up, and it's time to blaze up. All y'all that refuse to change your ways up, ain't giving a word, blind, crippled, or crazy. Men or boys, old women or babies, smash. Then what's left from the blast of a megaton warhead is hot ash. It'll be a nuclear winter in Y2K. All America scores and all that say, well, y'all niggas is crazy. Talking that Bible, when the bomb drops, all I tell you what I know.
When the saints go marching into Armageddon, countless amounts of blood that we shed, 200 million angels, 144,000 chosen, rolling, stomping, one Lord, bringing swords into slavery. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts, or no maybes. Either you roll or get rock, or when the bomb goes. When my mind stays so destroyed, these defensive lines act like Greg Lloyd. Loses claim my brain is on steroids. Can't avoid this lyrical asteroid combusting to a concussion. I beat you down like concussions. End of discussion, there's no touching the anointed. Verbs double jointed, got my sword pointed at your dome. My mind's chrome and blast shots like guns called Tommies. With sound waves hitting like tsunamis. Lemur Park is where you find me. Shout this word, superb, rest assured that it's righteous. You can't fight this, you might just get overwhelmed from my spiritual virus. While you sitting on your ass, we out exterminate vipers. Testing me, I got 12 mouths to feed on this noble journey. Defenders of the law, like an attorney. These strange doctrines don't concern me. Try to lynch and burn me, oppress me, but you can get my head and the testes. I swear your face like Gillespie, or you can get the blade like Wesley. Now every Jake wanna be sexy. The hell with that. I go on the blades like James, First, and Jesse. Nowadays, the Holy Spirit's having sex like epilepsy. That's not true. Read Isaiah 11 and verse 2. Time for Israel to debut as the rulers like we're supposed to. SOJ is here to put you on the right track and off of Esau's roller coaster. When the saints go marching into Armageddon, countless amounts of blood that we shedding, 200 million angels, 144,000 chosen, rolling, stomping, one Lord, bringing swords into slavery. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts, or no maybes. Either you roll or get rock, rock, over the bomb goes. When the saints go marching into Armageddon, countless amounts of blood that we shed, 200 million angels, 144,000 chosen, rolling, stomping, one Lord, bringing swords into slavery. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts, or no maybes. Either you roll or get blocked, or when the bomb goes.
Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing loud on their lips. Let the high praises of the Lord be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen, and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written, This honor have all the saints. Praise ye, praise ye.
I left my glasses and I didn't get the sound on. All right. How am I sounding now, man? Throw 7 in the chat if y'all can hear me. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai. Am I coming in clear? 7 in the chat if I'm okay now. All right. Looking good, looking good. All right. Let's rewind that back. All right. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, peace, welcome, all that good stuff to another episode. DSTM, Don't Shoot the Messenger. This is your brother Ahmath. I acquire first name. IQ is all the same. Salute to all the saints that's in the chat that's been coming in, greeting each other with holy salutations on the Shabbat. All of y'all, Shabbat Shalom. That's right. You're seeing my face again, going hard for the Lord this week. This is the 4th time you're going to see me this week. I'm going for 5. Going to be closing out the Sabbath class today with a Lord willing, a powerful lesson through the Spirit. So tune in for that as well. 5 times, 5 days. Come see me. All right. Come see us. You dig what I'm saying? Prayerfully, everybody's doing well, man. If everybody's doing well in the chat, you can also throw a 3 in there if you're doing well on the Shabbat, right? 3 also is a number of completion. 3 also is like an acknowledgement of a fulfillment. Right. So if you're doing well, throw a 3 in the chat. Why not? You dig what I'm saying? I don't want to confuse the 7s with the 3s, but prayerfully everybody is doing well. All right. Being that I got another lesson I'm doing later on, we're going to get right into it, man. No games being played. You already see what it is. Former president of Russia is now threatening Trump with World War III after his comments about his buddy Putin last week. Remember, he said Putin's going absolutely crazy. I don't know what's gotten into him. He's playing with fire, all this other stuff, right? So threats are being thrown back and forth. Right now, where my spirit is at, I'm going to just lightly cover the war news right now until something really gets cracking, right? Esau loves to throw out threats. They trolling each other, right? And I don't want to get caught up in the threats. Like, I want to see something really go down. So until that happens, we're going to breeze a little bit through the news. It is valid news. It is what's been on the table for years now. But, threats are being thrown out there, right? The panic button for the new pandemic, is it being pushed? If y'all remember, Peter Hotez back in December had made threats of saying, they're ready to batten down the hatches and let everything go after January 21st. Well, we're starting to see a number of different reports where various diseases are all of a sudden coming out, from concerts to airports, schools, all over the place, right? And just so happens after the World Health Organization signed off on their pandemic treaty. The timing is just ironic, huh? Also got some more information about AI. AI also getting a mind of its own, refusing orders now. You saw last week where AI was being threatened with being turned off, and it was resorting to blackmail, saying, if you turn me off, I'm gonna tell your wife you're cheating. Now that it's reduplicating itself, refusing to shut down. I mean, we're talking about, you can't make this stuff up, man. It's truth stranger than fiction. when we're talking about Skynet, Terminator type scenarios, iRobot. I mean, we see these things as movies, man, but the so-called white man is slick. He has a propensity to tell you the truth as a quote unquote white lie. White, and that's another thing. You know, that's how when we say he's the devil, meaning he's the deceiver of the earth, he's empowered by Satan. It's the truth. This is why he classifies such things as quote white lies. Why do they have to be classified as white lies? It's because when they tell it, it's like, hey, you know, it's coming from us. It's there's a little truth in there, but most of it is lies, right? We don't mean no harm. It's just a little white lie. But they always acknowledge it. It's coming from us. You dig what I'm saying? So AI going on the loose, man. I got another little nugget too, man. In the shout out to my brother Barack Yasha Allah. He sent me a video this morning, a little TikTok video of a show called 1923. And in that show, I don't know if anybody's hip to it or been watching it. I believe it's on Apple and Paramount. But there's a clip in there where there's a priest who acknowledges the Dark Ages. Oh yeah, the same Dark Ages that the Christian apologists are saying that we're crazy, we're making it up, we're lying, we're twisting the word swarthy and dark and everything else when we're reading about the histories of the Dark Ages. Oh no, that didn't mean that. That meant that they were sad. Oh, that meant that their hair texture was black. That meant that their faces were dark in countenance. That didn't mean that they were black people actually ruling and living in Europe. No, you guys were still over there in Africa swinging on trees, enslaving each other, eating, cannibalizing. No, brothers and sisters. The so-called white man knows the truth, and he's obligated to speak the truth. Look, let's get right to it, man. I'm not even going to play no games today. We got to get right into it. Like I said, I'm double backing later, so I got to preserve my spirit. But as he said in Psalm 64, we read it a number of times, right? What is he going to say? Psalm 64 and verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Meaning what? They're going to tell the truth. They're going to speak on things that condemns them in their own right. They can lay out a whole platter of lies, a whole buffet of and a smorgasbord of deceit and lies and cover-ups and conspiracies and so forth and so on, right? But at the end of the day, he's going to be provoked to tell on himself eventually. And it's only for those who are listening, watching, paying attention, and who have been documenting the lies to know that, hey, that isn't what you told us before. I remember. You know, for the regular sheeple that's going out here with, you know, eyes over their heads and hands over their eyes and hands over their ears. I don't want to see nothing, hear nothing, say nothing. You know, I don't care. Just let me live my life. Let me get high. Let me hit the club. Let me make my money. Let me roll around in my nice car. Let me floss off my new bag. You know, you just want to live life. Let me go on my boat trips and everything. Look, those are the ones who's going to be deceived and never going to get it. This is why Yahweh said that we shall know the truth, and the truth shall make us free. It's not going to set us. We're going to be made free. It's going to be a declaration. It's going to be a guaranteed statement. We're going to be made free, right? So it says, they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So, you know, when I play this clip too from the movie, they're going to admit everything that we talked about, even almost to the length of time that the scriptures say that we'll be in rulership and dominion in Europe, France, Spain. Where else did he mention? He might have mentioned Portugal. I can't recall, but we'll watch the clip later, right? That amongst others, man. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into it, man. Hold on. I don't know if I want to start there. Do I? I think I do. All right. Yeah, let's get right to it. Okay. So you can see right here, flesh-eating parasite is advancing towards the U.S. After a decades-long campaign to beat screwworms down to Panama, they're spreading back up north. remember everything that we talked about earlier, right? And before we get, you know what? No, no. We're going to cover a couple of these articles, and then we're going to have a flashback to remember what were we told and what were we being warned of. Remember, he's going to cause his own tongue to fall upon themselves. Only if you're paying attention, only if you're listening, only if you're diligent and zealous enough to acknowledge it and then say, okay, well, what do I do about it? Can I do anything about it? Right? A flesh-eating parasite is advancing toward the U.S. Look at it. The United States has for 70 years been fighting a continuous aerial war against a new world screwworm. New world. Very interesting term that they will use when we know that there's a quote-unquote NWO, right? And I don't want to say the whole word because then the bots get to stamping the video and say, oh, the NWO, you know, the acronym is a conspiracy theory made up. And then they flag the video and then all of a sudden it's being shadow banned. Not that it isn't already. You know, I was sharing with brothers last night. And this is why it's important, you know, when I ask brothers and sisters to wipe your feet, share the video, you know, help promote, because the shadow banning is real. The videos I did this week, YouTube barely even acknowledged and even promoted them or notified anybody. And I, case in point, tracked the one I did last night. And number one, I didn't get notified, and I'm the creator of it. And I said, notify me. Didn't get notified. It aired maybe 5-10 minutes after it was supposed to actually come on. So anybody that was looking for it to start at 7:30, when they realized it didn't come on, they, you obviously move on. You're like, oh, I didn't see it. It never happened. Or maybe they canceled it. They're thinking it's coming from us. It's not coming from us, brothers and sisters. There's an active shadow ban and discouragement of the content and information that comes from this channel and many others, right? And I screenshot, I showed brothers. I'm like, did anybody else get notified? Most brothers are like, nope, I didn't get it. Then it's like, oh, 10 minutes later, oh yeah, no, I see it. Me myself also, and usually with YouTube, they give you a 30-minute window of advance notice that something's going to premiere or play. They ain't sending them out to brothers and sisters. So if you don't know what I'm talking about and you're like, yeah, I didn't get notified, I didn't even know, go back on the channel, you'll see the other 3 lessons or 3 uploads that I did this week, and you'll see what you may have missed out on. But they ain't helping us. We got to help ourselves. All right, so that's what it is. Continuing on. So it says the United States has for 70 years been fighting a continuous aerial war against a new world screwworm, a parasite that eats animals alive: cow, pig, deer, dog, and even humans. Very interesting. The scientific name, C. homnivorax, translates to man-eater. Larvae of the parasitic fly chew through the flesh, transforming small nicks into big, gruesome wounds. But in the 50s, the U.S. Department of Agriculture laid the groundwork for a continent-wide assault. Workers raised screwworms in factories, blasted them with radiation until they were sterile, and dropped the sterile adult screwworms by the millions, even hundreds of millions, weekly over the U.S., then further into South in Mexico, and eventually in the rest of North America. Did you hear that? I mean, listen to the folly that they do. Rather than just destroy them, they saying, oh, we're just going to hit them with the radiation, make them sterile, and then we'll go and drop them off back into the U.S., back into Mexico, as if, they can't transmutate, they can't. It's the same thing that we see in that movie Contagion. At the end of the movie, once they finally got a grip on the actual virus and the contagion that was killing everybody and caused the whole pandemic, right? Or the epidemic, pandemic, whatever they want to call it. What did they do? They stored it in the cryogenic freezer and said, oh, let's bottle this up. We're going to save it. Remember, we're talking about an organization called the CDC, the Center for Disease Control. Break it down. There's a center that controls diseases. I'm going to leave it at that, right? So here they're saying, the U.S. Department of Agriculture laid the groundwork for a continent-wide assault. Workers raised screwworms in factories. Did you hear that? Raised these things in factories, blasted them with radiation until they were sterile, and then dropped the sterile adult screwworms by the millions, even hundreds of millions, weekly over the U.S., then further south of Mexico, and eventually in the rest of North America. So what they were trying to do is create these sterile screwworms so that when they mate with the females who are parasitic and dangerous, the offspring becomes sterilized. But does it kill the women? The female screwworms? No, they're still alive. They're still running around, right? Still able to infect, bite, put in the larvae. And who knows, even if they we're all sterile. Let's just say maybe half of them that they did were sterile, and the rest, hey, we're sending them out. I mean, far be it from the so-called white man to actually utilize biological warfare to reduce population. I mean, is that far-fetched or far advanced? Maybe not. Ask the brothers and sisters in Avon Park, Florida, that got hit with what was it? Mosquitoes with yellow fever and all of that they hit the projects with down there, amongst other places. In I think in Savannah, Georgia, they did it as well. Operation Sea Spray that they did up in San Francisco. I mean, come on. Let's continue. Highly infectious new. I don't know if I can even say this before they get to acting the fool. Highly infectious new DVOC strain from China. Here we go again. That led to massive spike in hospitalizations has spread to the U.S., including NYC. So we've got a parasitic worm known as the man-eater is making its way up here from South America, right? Now we got a highly new infectious DVOC germ coming. New highly infectious DVOC 91 strain that has led to a spike of hospitalizations in China has now been detected in the U.S., including cases in New York, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The new NB1.81 variant was first detected in the U.S. in late March and early April among international travelers arriving at airports in California, Washington State, Virginia, New York City, and additional cases reported in Ohio, Rhode Island, and Hawaii. So they're coming from the airports, right? If you remember, the high population of quote unquote illegal immigrants is coming from China. This is why Trump laid out the law right now, refusing student visas from anybody from China now. He don't want them over here, you know. So here comes another one, right? Now, here we go. First new antibiotic in 50 years to tackle the superbug. Zocerabalpin works differently to all existing drugs and may lay a foundation for development of new treatments. So here they come with new injections, new antibiotics, right? Very similar to what we've experienced. So they're already working on new drugs and new injections to give us. First new antibiotic in 50 years to tackle a common superbug will be tested on patients. The drug, which targets one of the bacteria considered to pose the biggest threat to human health, has been hailed as a, quote, exciting development in the fight against antibiotic resistance. On Monday, Roche, the Swiss pharmaceutical giant, Roche. I'm sure it's probably Roche or Roche. I'm calling it Roche. You know, what's more irritating than, you know, waking up and you see some roaches around, festering and eating up and clouding up space and dropping off the. Yeah, if y'all came up in the hood, you didn't share your house with some insects before, and you ain't got to come up in the hood with it. I've been in suburbs where people got ant infestations, you know, all kind of stuff going on, right? That's part of the curses. Most I said we're gonna be having, you know, mildew, blasts, and all kind of stuff in our homes and in our dwelling places. You know, part of Hosea 4:6 of us being rejected of the Lord is having to share our homes with rodents and insects, and you know, you got spiders in the house, roaches, ants, termites. You dig what I'm saying? Rats, mice. You know, all them things, man. So it's just a damn slap in the face when they you got these pharmaceutical companies calling themselves Roche. Announced that it will take Zorsorobalpin into the third and last phase on testing on humans. It is the first drug in 5 decades to show promise of tackling Acinetobacter baumannii. I don't even know where they come up with these damn names. Anyway, as a pathogen which is described as, quote, priority by the World Health Organization and a, quote, urgent threat by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the U.S. National Public Health Agency, the drug-resistant bacteria disproportionately impacts patients who are in the hospital causing infections such as pneumonia and sepsis. So this is supposed to be an antibiotic that's supposed to help with pneumonia and sepsis that affects patients in the hospital, right? Where it's supposed to be a more sterile environment, but meanwhile, they're being exposed to pneumonia and sepsis. When you think about the pandemic, how many people died when they had those respirators and you know, slapped on their faces in the hospital, right? More people dying in the hospital at the time. So they're already lining up new pokes, right, to fight these. And you notice every time, everything is the most infectious, the most. You can talk about pneumonia, sepsis. You can talk about the measles. They're talking about, you know, you're hearing about these new damn screw worm. Everything is the most. You know, they pump it up to the fullest. You got antibiotic, drug-resistant STDs. That's gonorrhea, drug-resistant. What's the other one they got going on? Chlamydia. I mean, they got stuff that right now they ain't even got shots and pokes for it, man. They can't get rid of this stuff. Herpes. You know, even the scriptures tell us that. I think it's in Jeremiah. Let me see that real quick. Jeremiah, I want to say it's 46. Yeah, look at this. Jeremiah 46:11 says, go up into Gilead and take balm, O virgin, the daughter of Egypt. In vain shalt thou use many medicines, for thou shalt not be cured. You know, so they constantly keep doing these clinical trials, coming up with these different pokes and antibiotic, and everything is bacteria resistant. You know, I mean, drug resistant bacteria, drug resistant STD. I mean, they're trying and they ain't getting it. Why? Because the Lord is sending these pestilence amongst them. But meanwhile, they're over here conjuring up and coming up with the stuff as well. Very interesting. Let's continue. Remember this guy? If not, let's have a playback. Let's have a playback. And before we do that, let's look at Romans 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Right? So we've got to take note of these things. The things that were written aforetime, the things that we forementioned, we take note of, right? Job 8:8, for inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of the Father. So history is very important. Documentation is very important. Remember, because it said things that were written aforetime, the oral traditions that we received from our forefathers and the things that were written of them, we pay attention to, right? We look at patterns as well. Ecclesiastes 1, verse 9. We look at these patterns and we try to see. Come on. You know, when you see these type of things and these activities that the so-called white man does, you got to take note of this is his nature. This is what he does. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there's no new thing under the sun. So if he's done it before, he's going to do it again. There's no new thing under the sun, right? So let's flash back and let's look at Peter Hotez. And let's remember this. This is back in December of 2024.
But there's still more. We know that we have a big problem with mosquito-transmitted viruses all along the Gulf Coast, where I am here in Texas. So we're expecting dengue and possibly Zika virus coming back, or a Puche virus, maybe even yellow fever. And there's more. Then we have all this sharp rise in vaccine-preventable diseases going up because of, in part, the anti-vaccine activism that's so.
So notice he said they got more stuff coming down the line that's all could be cured if you get poked in the arm. If you get vaxxed, you'll be fine. And he said, but this is all going to spread because of the anti-vax movement, right? Now, you look at this guy's countenance. You look at this guy's countenance, man. The hair disheveled all over the damn place, right? Corduroy jacket, bow tie. Like, who dresses like that anymore? When you're looking for a mad scientist, man, when you're looking for a damn maniac who's looking a Revenge of the Nerds type, you feel me? Like, you see somebody like that, you know he's out for revenge. You know he's out there because he's like, look, this is for all the women that rejected me. This is for all the guys who bullied me. This is for all the time I had to spend studying. This is for all the times that, you know, I got turned down for particular jobs. I'm coming after everybody. You know, he fits the profile, man. Sirach 19:25. A man may be known by his look. You can't judge anybody by the appearance. Don't look at me and assume. The Most High said, no, you can know somebody by his look, man. If a dude is out here, man, with pumps on and a halter top and some skinny jeans, and he's got a purse on his shoulder, is it fair to say that the dude is effeminate? More than likely a sodomite? Dare I say transitioning into being a Decepticon? Yeah, you can know somebody by that. You see a woman out here in LA, man, you're driving down Figueroa, and you see the streetwalkers out there, man, dressed like they're ready to just, all they got to do is take off the bikini top and peel off the draw. I mean, you know, the panties that they're wearing and with some stilettos. You're going to say, oh, that's a nice church-going woman. Or you're going to say, man, that's a woman of the night. She's out here. She's out here. Yeah, you can, in various instances, you can tell what somebody is when you see him. A man may be known by his look. You look at that guy, man, you say, man, this dude's up to no good. This guy. Look at it. Look, you trying to tell me, man, grown man.
But there's still more.
The hair all over the place,
that we have a big,
got, you know, hit with Static Shock. The old school round, you know, bifocals, man, the damn bow tie, books all over the damn. Look, you know, this guy is a complete maniac. Man may be known by his look, and one that have understanding. By his countenance, when thou meetest him. So how a brother carries himself, sister carries themselves, you'll be able to tell by the countenance, the demeanor, the spirit that they represent. You know, a lot by a handshake. You dig what I'm saying? So one to have understanding by his countenance, when thou meetest him, you can kind of tell, hey, that guy don't play no games. I'm seeing him, man. That's one I'm not gonna joke around with. Or this is a guy, man, you know, you seem kind of fun, loving, happy, whatever. Oh, this sister's modest, she's chaste, she's shamefaced. You know, I ain't gonna try to tell her to turn up and twerk and up. It's simple. When you meet somebody through conversation, you're going to get an understanding of what they want to talk about. They want to talk about, all they want to talk about is sports all damn day. It's like, look, bro, okay about the sports, but let's talk about the scripture, man. Have you seen what's going on the earth, man? Are you preparing your household, your family, man? You think that the Bible is right about, you know, Christ coming back to seek vengeance and set righteousness back in the earth? You think you might want to prepare for that? Nah, man, I'm about to go prepare to go catch these females, though. I'm about to go prepare to make this money. I'm about to go prepare to watch the game. Like, come on. You already know. There ain't no understanding in this person, man. Verse 30, a man's attire and excessive laughter and gait show what he is, right? So it does make a difference. Now, again, take a look at Dr. Evil right here, man, and here he is running down a list of all of the different plagues, diseases, and stuff that they got conjured up, and then he throws a jab in there saying, and it's all because individuals like myself and others who's saying, hey man, don't trust them folks, man. Our brothers and sisters in Tuskegee, really the brothers, trusted so-called white man to say, oh, we're going to get rid of, what was it? I wanted to say hepatitis. It wasn't hepatitis. It starts with a T. Forgive me, y'all. I drew a blank on that one. But y'all know about the Tuskegee experiment, man. You know about them, or maybe you don't, about them sterilizing the Native American women in the 70s, sterilizing Black and Hispanic female inmates in the jail systems, you know, offering them less time if they come out sterilized. You know, syphilis, the water. There you go. You know, the smallpox wrapped in the blankets, whooping cough, all the things that they came over here from Europe and Spain, man, and destroyed our people with, man. He is the mastermind of biological warfare. And these are the type of guys right here, man, who's in the laboratories bubbling them up, just like we just got to reading earlier. I mean, let's talk about them doing STD experiments on brothers and sisters in Guatemala. I mean, the list goes on and on, man. We ain't even talking about the dang polio that they did in the Middle East of Pakistan, the Pakistanis, and in South Africa. Cholera and all that, man, that they spread and jacked our people up in Haiti after the earthquake in 2010. I mean, the list goes on. I did a Library Chronicles, I believe, a couple of years ago about a book called Medical Apartheid, full of all of the things that they've done to our people. Right? Now, you see a guy like this, he's giving you fair warning. He's causing his tongue to fall upon himself. We start hearing about the measles outbreaks. Oh, here comes a new COVID strain. We've got screw worms. You got dengue fever. You got Lord knows whatever else. Disease X, weaponized Ebola. I mean, they got it all.
But there's still more. We know that we have a big problem with mosquito-transmitted viruses all along the Gulf Coast, where I am here in Texas. We're expecting dengue.
Mosquito-transmitted viruses, and you see, I've shown the TED Talk. I'm sure y'all have even seen it on your own, with Bill Gates talking about GMO engineered mosquitoes that they were letting out. And he remember in the TED Talk, he let them out. And he said, oh, it's not fair that just the poor people get sick. And they all giggled and laughed in there because he was talking about them being, you know, GMO mosquitoes that they engineered and created in the lab. And I mean, this guy just demonic. Let me finish.
And possibly Zika virus coming back, or a Puche virus, maybe even yellow fever. And there's more. Then we have all this sharp rise in vaccine preventable diseases going up because of, in part, the anti-vaccine activism that's so prominent right now. We have a 5-fold rise in pertussis cases, whooping cough over the last year, 15 measles outbreaks this year. We've got polio that's been in the wastewater in New York State. All that's going to come crashing down on January 21st on the Trump administration. We need a really, really good team to be able to handle this.
Wow. He says the polio got into the water systems in New York. That was some years ago, a couple years back, right? But how would he know about it?
But there's still more. We know
you ain't done.
that we have a big problem with.
Calm down. See. He wanted to continue. He wanted to remind us even more, man, through the Spirit. There's even more. See, Jeremiah 28:8. Y'all know this. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and what? And of pestilence. Why do we have to talk about these things? Because we know that in Psalms 83, 2 and 3, it says, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. Those that the enemies of God, power, Yahweh, and our enemies that hate us have lifted up their head. Oh, they've done lifted up their head. Now they're looking up. Now they're paying attention. Now they're focusing in on the Lord's people. Now that they've taken that focus, what are they doing? They've taken crafty counsel against thy people. This is crafty counsel that they're doing in these laboratories. This is crafty counsel when they're doing these clinical trial experiments. You know, they get so damn scandalous where they know people need money. So they offer money to do clinical trials. Will you be a guinea pig for $1,000? All we need to do is inject you a couple of times, and we'll just watch your progress over a week. After it's all said and done, here's $1,000. You know, Lord knows what they're they're poking you up with. And the so-called woman, he's got a tactic called slow kill. You know, where it's something that it may not get you right away. You may not experience the effect right away. 3-4 years down the line, you develop cancer, you develop leukemia, you develop all kinds of different issues, and you're trying to figure out where and how did this happen? I don't smoke. I don't have a history of my family. I don't know why. Oh, you know why? Remember that clinical trial you took part in 5 years ago that you forgot about? That $1,000 that you went and spent within the first day? Yeah, maybe it was that. You know, are people running to go donate blood to go get a little bit of money? You know, they know what they're doing, man. Crafty counsel is being taken, man. They're not playing no games. They're pulling out the stops on all different types of deceptions, backdoor inventions, crafty counsel, man, where they deceive us into thinking things are for our own good when it's not. I mean, look, he said things are vax preventable. Well, wasn't that the promise that we was given when Moderna and Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson came out with these miraculous warp speed pokes that popped up, and they had people just so beat down into submission. I'm tired of being quarantined. I'm tired of not being able to go to work. I'm tired. I can't see my family members. I can't go to the hospital. I can't do this. I can't keep my job. I'm getting, just like you said, Naquan, I might get discharged if I don't get this. And everybody was promised, hey, just take it. Even slow Biden, he popped out. He said, man, just get it. If you take this, you're not going to get infected. You'll be fine. You can take the mask off. You can finally breathe again. They made all these promises, man. And then guess what? I know multiple people that got poked in their arm. And all of them still got sick. And worse. Long-term effects. Dare I say, people that had, heart issues, cancer issues, diabetic issues. You dig what I'm saying? Like, and they say, well, get boosted 2-3 times. It didn't stop nothing, right? Until they finally reverted and to start classifying it as a severe or common cold. Remember, they switched the narrative on all that stuff, man. And then everybody that was leading the charge, putting their faces on everything, once they quote unquote declared it over, they all disappeared. The woman that was running the WHO, she suddenly, fades out the limelight and she retires or resigns. Fauci resigns. Everybody. Bill Gates disappears. He gets divorced. He loses money. He goes. All of them disappear all of a sudden. Job well done. They're gone. They did what they're supposed to do, right? And you track the death counts since they introduced the pokes. Everything is elevated. All roads lead to the one thing that changed in everybody's lives, and you know what it is. I'm not gonna go too crazy on it because we want to keep the channel up. But y'all know what time it is. Right. This is crafty counsel that they've taken. And then they go put a maniac on the TV that let him run his mouth, and he goes out and spills the beans a little bit. All this is going to come crashing down on the Trump administration. I showed y'all the Daigle report. Say 2025, they expect millions of people to die. Well, so far we're almost halfway into 2025. That hasn't happened. But if you're tracking the death tolls in many areas, from the wars, from the diseases and pestilence and all that, there's millions that you can attribute to death, right? They still got a little ways to go, because I think the numbers are like 60-some million. But that's not to say that that's true. Sometimes they throw out misinformation or a quote unquote white lie. Well, it wasn't 60-something. It's actually about 50, 5,000, 5 million, 7 million, 8 million. But nobody takes account and just say, but damn, that's still millions of people. This is crafty counsel they're taken against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. So this is what they're up to, man. We know about Micah. Even Micah tells us. Let's look at Psalm 50. Micah 2 tells us they devise evil upon their beds. And let's not make no mistake about who we talking about. They talk about, are we talking about the white? No, hold on. Let's look at Psalms 52. To the chief musician, Masil, a psalm of David, when Doeg the who? Edomite, came to Saul and told him, David is come to the house of Ahimelech. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief? If you know the history about Doeg the Edomite, Doeg thought that he was going to get points with Saul by reporting on David. And he also killed and slaughtered the priests, which was blasphemous, and he ended up getting slayed and destroyed because he thought he was doing a good deed by killing the priest. And it was like, oh, I'll let you. You're just supposed to scout about David, man, but you went off and went ape-ish and killed the Lord's anointed priest, man. What the hell is wrong with you? But that's the inner hatred that he had through his bloodline. Remember, even through his forefather Esau said, when the days of mourning for my father are finished, I will kill and slay my brother Jacob. That's still in him right now. Doeg the Edomite, he went off and killed the priest. Now, so who's the topic of the conversation? This Edomite. Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of the Most High endureth continually. Thy tongue devises mischief. So who's always devising mischief with their tongue? Who's always telling lies? Who's always being mischievous at their words? Who's always being deceptive with their conversation? Who don't like to play word games and semantics and all that? Oh, the Edomite. Thy tongue devises mischief like a sharp razor working deceitfully. They're constantly looking to cut, to destroy. Right? Okay. I see what you're saying, Pop. Hey, salute, Pops. What's going on? Thy tongue devises mischief like a sharp razor working deceitfully. So what do we see him talking about? Oh, we got more. We got this. We got that. We got this. We got that. Oh, yeah. And it's all going to come crashing down. Verse 3, thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness, Selah. So when we speak about, and you can't just say, oh, this is his only time about Doeg. All the rest is good. Okay, look at the history of them, man. Who's got a higher murder rate, death count to their bloodline existence? Who's killed more people? Who's deceived more people? Who's the notorious poster child when it comes down to colonization, murder, rape, deceit, all the extras? I mean, it's not really too hard to put it together. Every nation on the earth has experienced his wrath, has experienced his lies, has experienced his oppression, even with himself. Because they can say, well, the English, the British, they enslaved the Irish, and even some of that you got to take into consideration, because you had a lot of Israelites who was in Ireland. So I mean, come on. Well, we were enslaved to the Arabs, chattel slavery. you're a big deal. You still got your language, your land. You still was able to come out on top. How about with us when we was in the same position under the Arab and in the sub-Saharan slave trade? Did we get everything back? Did we? No. Let's not make those comparisons. So Peter Hotez comes from the same bloodline. He's telling everybody what it is. 2nd Ezra 15:49. The Lord is acknowledging to Asia, and guess what? It's going to spread through the world. I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Notice how they always keep saying, it's coming from China, coming from China. Well, who they talking about? Verse 46, and thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person. What's going to happen? They're going to be the ones who's going to be causing much of the pestilence that's going to be going on. So every time when they say, oh, it's coming from China, the Chinese did it. Or if it ain't them, it's always the Africans. You know, they always have the scapegoats lined up. Scapegoats already lined up, right? But we see how the Most High operates. Psalm 91. Let's read this and then we'll get back. Because when it's all said and done, this is where our hope lies in, our prayers lie in, our faith lies in, our due diligence with our obedience to the Father lies in. We can talk about all these things, but guess what? If we're doing the right things, if we're maintaining ourselves in the faith, man, we ain't got nothing to worry about. Psalm 91, verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Most High Yahweh, He is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In Him will I trust. Surely He will deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. So you're hearing all the noise, chit chat, all these things coming down the pipeline. You have to be aware, right? Because what? Sirach 5:15 tells us not to be ignorant of any matter, small or great. So these things we got to know about. These things are coming down the pipeline. There was a lot of Israelites that got hit with the DVOG 91. You had Israelite leadership that was telling everybody just go out and get poked, man, so we can get this over with and get back to life as normal. Believing in the lie that if you take this, everything will be back to normal, unless you like the quote unquote new normal. Surely He's going to deliver us from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Only when we fully trust in the Most High, only when we're completely invested in the Most High. You can't have no other side bets going on. You can't have no other investments going on. You can't go in doubtfully and saying, well, I believe 90% of what the Most High says, but I really do. But this other 10%, you know, just in case, I might want to, it won't work. His way or the highway. Verse 4. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. You want to trust in the feathers and the wings of the Most High? You want to trust in the feathers and the wings of the eagle? The eagle of Rome, the eagle of America. Which one you want to be under? Verse 4 again. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. The scriptures tell us never trust thy enemy, right? We know that. Sirach 12. Our trust is supposed to be in the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua, right? Continuing on, His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Well, what's the truth? Psalms 119 and 142 tells us that the law is the truth. That's what's going to keep us strong. That's what's going to keep us shielded and protected. So long as we're being obedient and we're keeping the commandments of the Lord, that's going to be our get back, our defenses. And even through that, you still utilize wisdom. You still utilize your understanding. That doesn't mean that you still shouldn't be taking and absorbing various preventative cares to take care of your temple. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you should still, getting up on your vitamin C, your vitamin D, your echinacea and golden seal. What else they got out there? You've got all different types of things, supplements. Some people into the sea moss thing. I mean, there's all kind of things that our people could be utilizing to maintain and be preventatively as best as we can, I know my people in the Caribbean, they drinking the bitters on a daily basis to boost their immune system. You know, there's all kind of various preventative measures that we could take just to maintain. Because remember, nothing wrong with that. The Most High said He created medicines out of the earth in Sirach 38. So He tells us these are the things you're supposed to use. These are the things I gave you. These are the things you're supposed to trust in as well. And along with the truth, there'll be your buckler and shield. So Peter Hotez, he's jumping out the window, you know, saying what it is, right? But we see what it is. Now, mind you, let's be reminded about this. Let me show y'all this too. Let me show y'all this. Okay. This is a document called Operation Lockstep. Let's get back to let me show y'all the front. I shared this some years ago at our old congregation. This is from 2010. Scenarios for the future of technology and international development. Who came up with it? Maybe y'all can't see. Hold on. Get out the way. Does that name look familiar? Does this name look familiar? Can y'all see that? No? Okay, let me blow it up a little bit more. Can y'all see who came up with this? A notorious family has designed and came up with a booklet for future technologies and international developments and scenarios that come along with it. Again, this is 2020. Called what? Operation Lockstep. Okay. I'm gonna read a little bit of this and then we're gonna get back to it. Hopefully y'all can see. I'm about to blow it up. And let me move over here. Now, this is a scenario that they threw out there. A world of tighter top-down government control and more authoritarian leadership with limited innovation and growing citizen pushback. This is what Operation Lockstep was built around. A world with tighter top-down government control. So they were talking about creating a world in a scenario where the government has more control and is authoritarian leadership, meaning a quote-unquote dictatorship that's going to be governing the world. How are they going to get this accomplished? They needed a scenario in order to make this happen. Here's a scenario. In 2012, mind you, this booklet and this instructional was written in 2010. So they're saying here's a future date. 2 years down the line, something happened. Look, 2012, pandemic that the world had been anticipating for years finally hit. Unlike 2009's H1N1, this new influenza strain originating from wild geese was extremely virulent and deadly. So only thing that they changed was that geese to bats. Follow me. Even the most pandemic prepared nations were quickly overwhelmed when the virus streaked around the world, infecting nearly 20% of the global population and killing 8 million in just 7 months. The majority of them healthy young adults. The pandemic also had a deadly effect on economies. International mobility of the people and goods screeched to a halt, debilitating industries like tourism and breaking global supply chains. Did that not happen? Do y'all remember this happening in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023? Economies got rocked, right? International mobility of both people and goods screeched to a halt. You can't go here, you can't go there unless you've got a vax card, unless you got a passport, unless you got, you follow? Okay. Even locally, normally bustling shops and office buildings sat empty for months, devoid of both employees and customers. Or you can't go to your favorite restaurant. You can't go to your favorite anywhere anymore. A lot of these little businesses and office buildings right now, you see boards up on them because they're not open anymore. Now, mind you, this is just a scenario. Or was it? The pandemic blanketed the planet. Though disproportionate numbers died in Africa, Southeast Asia, and Central America, where the virus spread like wildfire in the absence of official containment protocols, But even in developed countries, containment was a challenge. The United States initial policy of, quote, strongly discouraging citizens from flying. Well, let me see if I can blow it up a little bit more so y'all can see. Telling everybody don't fly, proved deadly in its leniency, accelerating the spread of the virus, not just within the U.S., but across its borders. Remember when the thing first hit and they were saying, oh, don't worry about it. Wear a mask 14 days. It'll pass. Quarantine 14 days. They lightly played it. Yeah. Fauci, all of them saying, don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. Then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Remember, they said the leniency caused it to spread, right? The Chinese government's quick imposition and enforcement of mandatory quarantine for all citizens, as well as its instant and near hermetic sealing off of all borders, saved millions of lives. Well, isn't that what China did? They had people locked in their homes. They was soldering and welding people's doors closed, man. They were shutting everybody down. They couldn't go nowhere. Remember that? Now, this was just a scenario. Again, this is 2010. They didn't let it go until 2019, 2020. That's when we started really seeing this thing. Let's see. During the pandemic, national leaders around the world flexed their authority and imposed airtight rules. And restrictions from the mandatory wearing a face mask. The mandatory wearing a face mask? You can't get in unless you got this on? From stores, the restaurants, churches, you name it. Again, this is 2010. Talking about a scenario that was going to happen in 2012, which they were really knowing in their mind, no, we're going to let this go in 7 more years. That'll be completion. Temperature checks at the entries of communal spaces, trains, like train stations, supermarkets, all of that, right? I'm not going to read too much more of this, but y'all should be able to see where I'm going with it. You know what they say? When they say something, believe them. Somebody shows you who they are, believe them, right? Now, hotels are saying this, that, and the third. You got all these different, viral scenarios playing out. And let's be reminded again, this is right after they approved the World Health Organization Pandemic Treaty. Let's flash back and let's hear Sherry Tenpenny, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, tell you what this is all about. What's going on with the pandemic treaty that was just agreed to?
Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, and I want to do a quick update about a document that got passed by the United Nations this weekend called the Pact of the Future document. It's 2 parts, one on science and technology and one about the youth and future generations. It is quite egregious, and it was done by a procedure called the silence procedure, which makes it a pact. And if no one objected, it is automatically adopted and put into the record as being completely adopted. This is the World Health Organization's runaround, our end around. Since they were not able to get the World Health Organization treaty passed, they decided to take it to the General Assembly. And it is even more egregious than what the World Health Organization was wanting to get passed. Let me just read you something really quick.
Now, mind you, she recorded this, I think, a couple of years ago. It's been going on TikTok and everything else, right? Now, she said that because they've been trying to get this treaty passed for a while now. I think they drafted it in, I want to say 2017, 2018, something like that. Couldn't get it passed. Now, 2025, they got it passed. In the midst of that, remember, America has declined their participation with the WHO, but it's not effective until 2026. So I think the end of 2026, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it might be the end of this year. Nonetheless, this is why they can push the panic button and fast forward so that America is held accountable for the things she's about to discuss.
Quickly about what is inside of this pact that is now being accepted by 193 nations around the world and equally open armed accepted by our current administration. Everyone, it says that this is the power structure, fully digital and maximized for the control of the masses. Everyone will be expected to have a biometric digital ID that marks them.
Now, remember, she just said everything's going to be fully digital. Hold on. And I'm going to show you why this is important, too. Because your man, Agent Orange, just spent $500 billion investing in AI and tech. And two of the companies are notorious for utilizing AI to create a surveillance grid, one of which, Oracle, got sued already for doing just that. But your man went in and donated 500, has a budget of 500 billion to expand this. Let's continue.
Administration. Everyone, it says that this is the power structure, fully digital and maximized for the control of the masses. Everyone will be expected to have a biometric digital ID that marks them not just as citizens of an individual country, but as a global citizen. So anytime you hear global citizen or anytime you hear sustainability, think that this is an egregious thing that's happening at the level of the World Health Organization and the United Nations. Anyone that has a dissonant opinion will be labeled as misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation and memory hold. Perpetrators for unapproved information will be fact-checked and punished by the system, which...
Well, we've already seen that play out, right? If you disagree with them, all hell breaks loose. Shadow banning, canceling accounts, people have been arrested for refusals of getting, poked in the arm, for standing up against authorities, all this stuff. We've seen it already play out with the dry run, with the 2019 scenario.
Which will be operated and enforced by artificial intelligence. Punishments will include being locked out of one's bank account, being unable to make certain purchases, unable to get on an airplane, on a subway, drive on public roads. This is the future, according to the world's self-appointed overlords at the United Nations. These are unelected bureaucrats that are making decisions about our country, our sovereignty around the world. Nothing could be more important at this point in time than to get prepared. Have water, food, digital access, flashlights, a way to communicate with family and friends. Now is really the time to get involved and get prepared, because this is what's coming. So
we saw some of these things play out already with their, again, 2019 to 2023, 2020 into 2024 scenario. I still see people running around with masks on all the time. Like, people are still sick from that scenario. And either that or they're just ready to be acclimated into the next phase. They've already been neutered, they're already been brought to heel. It's not going to take much more convincing for a lot of people. But this is what she's acknowledging, right? So we can't forget those things, right?
Our Congress is sitting on its hands. There was
I'm not going to play no more of that, right? So, but we see here too that there is just a little bit of life going on in there. RFK Jr., who's he got granted what was his position with the health director of the why even guess when I can look it up. We know RFK Jr. Secretary of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. That's his position. And he's been a crusader for proper health care. He hasn't been co-signing what was happening with the jabs and the pokes and the things that the FDA was approving. He's been against a lot of these things. But at the same time, he has always acknowledged he's not anti-vax, but he doesn't like the mRNA. He doesn't like some of the technologies that they've been popping out with. Right. And let's not forget. Let's not forget who was before them. This a man's gait in appearance. You trying to tell me you can't see him shows what he is? This is who he replaced. So I guess we can say, but thank the Lord that there has been some sort of justice put in, man. Turkey neck, I mean, good Lord. Slow Biden's first pick for HHS role would be a transformer. This is who we replaced. All praises. I mean, look at this creature, man. A straight gremlin. Good Lord. Okay. So, on some good news, RK Jr. canceled the $800 million big pharma vaccine experiment. So he's coming in, shaking up things, man. He's saying, no, we're not giving Moderna $800 million to develop a new jab against the bird flu because they know the H1N1. They're trying to utilize that as well. I forgot. I ain't even mentioned the bird flu one. Moderna was already on and waiting to get $800 million to cash in on something they probably already had made. So he's canceling that. Trump administration has canceled $766 million government grant awarded to Moderna to develop a vaccine against the bird flu. The company said it was notified that the Health and Human Services Department had withdrawn funds awarded by the Biden administration to pay for development and purchase of its experimental shot. Notice, experimental. Everything is based upon clinical trials, experiments. We don't know if it's going to work or not, but guess what? That check is going to cash. If you look at what was it? The amount of money that Pfizer made, I think they made like $5 billion when it was all said and done after the pandemic. You know me, I like saying stuff, but I got to make sure that I fact check myself. There's, a troll or somebody, he said 5 billion wasn't 5 billion. He lied. I did lie. Pfizer made 35. I knew there was a 5. 35. So I did. I was wrong. I apologize. Pfizer made approximately 35 billion in net profit in just that year alone, 21 and 22, 2 years. The rich get richer, man. The rich gets richer. Sales of Paxlovid, 18.9 billion in 2022. Look at this. They win. But RFK says no. We shutting that down. We're not awarding them with money. So they can do more experimental shots. So all praises for that. I give credit where credit is due. Right? Let's continue here. But you know what? That's okay. We'll continue. You see some of the corruption and the foolishness from number 47. When he gets into office, right, he gets to lay out the pardons. And he's spreading the love. This is why I've been hearing they saying, his relationship with Puffy, with P. Diddy, with the freak off king. Let's show their relationship. They've been hanging out. Oh, that's cold. Look at that. That ain't right. But look, he's got a relationship. He might have been around the freak off. No, this is different suits now. So they've been in a couple of different occasions. Puffy got the white suit on there. Here you go again. Him and his groomer, Tommy Mottola. This guy's a notorious cheek bandit. And it's been rumored that this is how he got into all his freaky stuff. But look who he's hanging with. So he's known as man. He's known his boy for a minute. Look at him. So this Negro right here, man, he's praying that his white zaddy, man, gives him a pardon. If he gets convicted, he's gonna hope that he looks out for him. Because he's pardoning all his crimees out there, man, is doing things that I'm sure he's gotten into or he's privy to, or some that may have some dirt on him. He's letting them go. A reality show couple convicted of bank fraud and tax crimes. Oh, walk free. President Donald Trump has signed full pardons for imprisoned reality show couple Todd and Julie Chrisley, who were sentenced to lengthy prison terms in 2022 for conspiracy to defraud banks out of more than $30 million, according to a White House official. They're in here, they get sentenced, right? I think they got 10 years. $30 million, right? His brothers that's locked up who have quote unquote robbed banks for a few $100,000, and they doing 15, 20 years. What's the difference? One used a gun and the other used a computer and some bad accountants. Either way, the banks got robbed out of millions of dollars. For them, 30 million, and the brother might have got a lot of which money they never got a chance to spend or even utilize. Because 9 times out of 10, they then got busted within a week. $30 million, right? That's how you know, man. The same systems of fraud and abuse don't work for us. They getting pardoned after swindling the banks out of 30 million. In addition to the bank fraud convictions, they were also found guilty of several tax crimes, including attempting to defraud the IRS. In a post on X, Trump's advisor, Margot Martin, posted a video of Trump phoning Savannah Chrisley, the couple's daughter, informing her of the plans for pardons. It's a terrible thing, but it's a great thing because their parents are going to be free and clean. Free and clean. Let's look at Todd and Julie Chrisley. Where were they at? Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe they're Israelites. Oh, you know better. You know better. Here they go. Look at the happy couple, man. Got reality TV show deals off of fraud and tax evasion, $30 million. This is how they building up empires and making it look like, they got it out the mud and got it honest. No. They're out free. Here they go. I don't even know if that's a real picture. It look a little AI-ish, but either way, we see who they are, right? They got out. Let's move on. So Trump, he already is co-signing for Diddy. No surprises there. Trump was probably in some of them freak offs, man. He wants his name silent, Let's look on. Okay, Trump pardoned a tax cheat. He loves everybody gets over on their taxes, right? Tax cheat. But they let you not pay back that $5,000 you owe to the IRS. They garnishing your wages, man. They locking your butt up. It's over with. Ask Ja Rule. Ask Fat Joe. Ask all these damn sovereign Moors running around saying I ain't got to pay my taxes, and they get lumped upside the head and locked up. Yeah, they don't give a damn about that. But let these other Edomite tax cheats, man, they be getting off. But notice what it says. He got pardoned after his mother attended that $1 million dinner. Remember that $1 million dinner that he opened up for all of his crypto buddies and all of his billionaire buddies that could have some time to speak with him and let their voices be heard? Remember that? Oh, yeah. Mama went in there and paid that $1 million and told him, I didn't pay the fee, man. Let my son go. Pay for play. Paul Wasak's pardon application cited his mother's support for the president, including raising millions of dollars and a connection to a plot publicized a Biden family diary. Paul Walzak awaited sentencing earlier this year. His best hope for avoiding prison time rested with the newly inaugurated president. Paul Walzak, a former nursing home executive who had pleaded guilty to tax crimes days after the 2024 election, submitted a pardon application to President Trump around Inauguration Day. The application focused not solely on Mr. Walzak's offenses, but also on the political activity of his mother, Elizabeth Fago. You got the money? He's for sale. He's for sale. That's why the Lord said, man, if you're in a position of power, you cannot take bribes. But that doesn't apply for the so-called white man. He's going to definitely take bribes. Let's move on. Oh, but don't worry. He's done some good things too, man. He didn't look out for Larry Hoover and NBA YoungBoy. See, that's how he balances it out. So he can say, look, I didn't just pardon all my little crimes, all my pardons, but I let out a couple of yours too. Now, mind you, I think, and I support the fact that he let out Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover's been locked up since the 70s. He just spent 30 years, I believe, in solitary confinement alone in the federal penitentiary in Denver. Kohath, you in Aladai, y'all know Larry Hoover, founder of the GDs and all of that. I mean, he's getting out. He's 75 years old at this point. I'm assuming. I mean, I guess any day outside is just as good. But you're trying to give him a life back at 75. He's repented of, his involvements and the things that he did. And mind you, he went to jail initially for killing the drug dealer, I believe. So, I mean, go figure. But this is how Trump does it, man. Remember when his first time he pardoned Lil Wayne and who was it he pardoned? What's the brother's name that started Death Row? Not Suge Knight. The guy that was behind Death Row. What's that cat's name? Michael. Are they still gonna hold him for a state charge? Good Lord. Esau is no good, man. Yeah, he did have state and federal cases on him. That's so dirty. The man is 75 years old, man. Been locked up for decades upon decades, man. I mean, let the man live. Come on. What's the cat's name that started Death Row with the money? Anyway, man, they let him out too. I want to say Michael Conception, not Michael Conception. What's that cat's name? Damn. I can't remember that dude's name for nothing, man. There you go. What was that? Harry-O. Good Lord. I couldn't remember Harry-O's name for nothing. Harry-O's name for nothing. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, kind of. So, yeah, Harry-O. You didn't let him out. The Water Brothers. Let Harry-O out. So that's how he does things, man. Is he tries to win over the favor of all his millionaire buddies and all of that, and billionaire buddies. And then at the same time, he knows there's going to be some uproar amongst the black folks, man. So he says, okay, I'll give you a little gift, man. Shut up. I'll get your rapper out so he can get back out there and continually poisoning the airways and seducing y'all with the dumbed down lyrics of why it's cool to be a gangster and be on pills or be on drugs or treat your women wrong and, go out there and kill. Yeah, I'm going to let him out too so he can get back to poisoning. And unfortunately, I thought they was gonna let the man out, man. But if they holding him on state charges, man, that's all bad, man. They ain't gonna let that dude go. That's terrible. But here we go. Since reclaiming the White House, Trump has deployed pardons in a wide-reaching campaign and recalibrated justice system he calls corrupt and says politically persecuted him. So because he's a quote-unquote convicted felon, he can feel the pain, even though he ain't spent a day in jail. You know, he's constantly been escaping tax issues and all of the damn SA, the SEX charges that was against him, where he had to pay millions of dollars. He ain't he ain't get in touch with none of that. But he says, I feel your pain. Some of those pardons were convicted of crimes similar to charges brought against him in his family business. Others repeatedly flexed their loyalty to the administration and public, hoping to stand out among thousands of petitioners vying for his attention. He pardoned a U.S. Army officer found guilty of refusing to follow the virus safety measures. I guess that's a good thing. A couple who admitted to knowingly employing a felon at their insurance company and a popular hip hop artist. I mean, I don't see a problem with giving a guy a chance unless there was some folly that went on. I don't know. A popular hip hop artist, NBA YoungBoy, convicted of gun charges in addition to commuting the sentence of former gangster disciple Larry Hoover. So he thinks he's gonna, seduce our people. That's gonna have our people running out there, man. Man, the hell with what brothers are saying, man. Trump let go Larry Hoover. Trump let Harry O out. Trump let NBA YoungBoy out. F what you niggas are talking about. Then he's going to create that divide. Because you see now, a lot of people are waking up. People are regretting they voted for him, supported him, and all that. You see people, especially our people in particular, Black women crashing out on TikTok, talking about how their food stamps are getting reduced, Medicaid getting cut, Section 8 getting regulated, right? Now they're out here screaming and crying. We've been telling you, and we've been talking about it for who knows how long. This was coming down the pipeline. Get ready. So while you got some running around here saying, hey, F him, I shouldn't have did that. Now you got some others saying, F what y'all talking about. We got his back because he let out the OGs. But you see what I'm saying? He's just causing more confusion and divisiveness. That's what it's going to cause. But, again, give credit where credit due. If they do let Larry Hoover out for real, all good. But obviously, if they said the state charge is going to be there, the man ain't seeing the light of day no time soon. Moving on. Putin's helicopter was at the epicenter of Ukraine's drone strike. This was a report that came out. This is on the background scene that there was an assassination attempt on Putin. This is what caused him to go heavy bombing with the drone. And before and while he was talking to Trump on the phone, Trump was scratching his head saying he's going crazy. I don't know what's into him. We know that this is all prophecy. This is why the Most High put the hooks in the jaws of Putin to initiate and to get involved with warfare and to strap up and get ready for the incoming World War III scenario. But this is why he was, going about what he was going about. Matter of fact, hold on. I think I forgot to play something. Yeah, I did. There was I did. Shalaki. I meant to play this too about the pokes in the arms and with JFK. Now, watch what they're saying. This is after what they was talking about with the pokes. Watch how he plays games with the language. Now, notice the CDC issues clarified guidance says young children and pregnant women may receive the jab. Look at this.
So I promised you that I'd stay on top of this, and the shifting COVID vaccine policies of the Trump administration have shifted once again. The CDC just posted new recommendations that say healthy children and pregnant women may get COVID vaccinations instead of saying they should get those shots. The change comes days after.
Did you hear him? Should, meaning we highly recommend. You probably should do it. It's under our advisory that you'll be better off if you get those words make a whole lot of difference. May means you have a choice. Should, that means it's highly recommended. It's coming from your, medical practitioners and all of that, telling you what you should be doing. Now they switched up the language. Oh, you may.
The change comes days after Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a vaccine skeptic, announced COVID vaccines will no longer be recommended for healthy kids and pregnant women. And I checked for you today, and according to the CDC, and this is important, this still means health insurers must pay for the vaccinations. That's something that was in question after Kennedy's initial announcement.
So he was campaigning saying, no longer should you be telling people that they have to get it, they should get it, all of the above. So they changed the wording from should to may. You may get it if you want to, but no, they know what they're doing. Let's close that up so I can get back to where I was. Now, mind you, this is all on the cusp of, let me see, did I put that on here? I don't know. Yeah, I did. I don't need to look at it. So, Slugger, rewinding. Let's go back. Now, this is why the bombing was going on, right? So, there was an assassination attempt on Putin. It said the Russian officer said a drone was detected approaching the flight path of Putin's helicopter and was immediately neutralized by Russia's air defense forces. So this was the whole thing of why the so-called peace deal was dead. Putin ain't trusting was coming out of Ukraine, nor is he trusting was coming out of Trump's mouth. Trump is running around here saying he's going crazy. This is over with, blah, blah, blah. You know, all of these things, right? Now, after Trump went on TV and was saying what he said about Putin, now his former president, who's in support of Putin, came out and said this. Former Russian president threatens Trump with World War III after Putin criticism. Trump's special envoy for Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, has hit back at reckless comments by security official Dmitry Medvedev. So you see them going at it with each other. Trump security official, he's barking back. They, Keith Kellogg's going. They're over here trolling each other like crazy. Look, a former Russian president has threatened World War III after Donald Trump criticized Vladimir Putin for his actions in Ukraine. The U.S. branded the comments by the often inflammatory Dmitry Medvedev, quote, reckless, as the war words between the two global powers continues to ramp up. However, diplomatic efforts appear to be ongoing despite the public classes, and in the rare move, U.S. embassy officials were seen attending a security meeting in Moscow on Wednesday. Now, mind you, Tuesday, I did a recorded breaking news that they said that the deal was dead. They said the peace deal is dead. Now, these are last-ditch efforts that they're doing to try to talk it out, but it's not getting anywhere. I believe they have a 30-day ceasefire deal that they've been discussing is on the table right now. Russia ain't going for it. They got a peace deal that they are have on the table between Hamas and Israel. Hamas and came back like this don't favor us in no way, man. You're going to have to revise this. We're not with it. So again, all attempts for peace have been failed. The latest tit for tat began at the weekend when Trump called the Russian leader, quote, crazy following the airstrike on Kiev. He doubled down on the criticism on Tuesday in a post on the Truth Social. What Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia. So he's acknowledging, trying to say, like, it's because of him that there isn't, World War III hasn't already kicked off between Russia, NATO, and Russia's allies. Oh, a lot of things. Look at this. I mean, quote, in all caps, really bad. He's playing with fire. Well, what kind of fire could he be talking about? You know what fire we're talking about. Thermonuclear fire. The same one that the script is talking about, fervent heat in the book of 2 Peter. Right? He's saying that he's preventing this from happening. But he loves to privately take credit for everything, man. Call it what you want. Look at the U.S. group suspends Gaza operations after all hell breaks loose at an aid site. Wednesday, Reuters is reporting that the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the controversial U.S.-backed aid organization whose distribution sites are protected by American mercenaries, has suspended its operation in Gaza due to, quote, disorder. So once they opened up the doors and said, we got to give them aid and help them out, bring the food back in, the water, and get the supplies back in, they said all hell broke loose and they immediately canceled all aid. Now, the Gaza government saying it was because of the Israeli soldiers and all that caused the chaos. And of course, they're double down and saying it wasn't us. It was because people were looting. But look at this. Gaza's government media office announced in a statement, we confirm that the Israeli occupation's project to distribute aid in the so-called, quote, buffer zones has failed miserably. According to field reports and according to what was announced by the Hebrew media as well, Israel has rejected the charge, instead blaming unruly Palestinian masses, Hamas, and criminal gangs who have long looted aid stores in the Strip. If you've been starved out for months, you haven't been given proper medical, food, supplies, your refugee encampment's been getting bombed, women and children getting killed on the regular, any access to food, any access to medical supplies, I'd be looting too. I'd be a little unruly too. When world and global media is saying, hey, what the small hat GMO Jews are doing over there are a violation of humanitarian rights, violation of war, or they're committing war crimes, so forth and so on, right? So as soon as they get over there with a few boxes of food and people are wilding out, I mean, what do you expect? And if they're being agitated and if they're being provoked, because it has to be regulated by the small hats, the same ones who's causing the problem. And then they say, hey, look, they're acting like savages. We got to cut the aid up. Now they cut off again. White man is devious, man. So devious. When you talk about problem, reaction, solution, they cause the problem again. The Hegelian dialectic is playing out over and over in this scenario and many others that we've been seeing. This is what's going on. They cause a problem, get this reaction, then the solution is take it off from them anyway. Wild stuff. Oh, look at the hypocrisy. Here we go. Making President Trump's bed a housekeeper without papers. As much as he is campaigning and riding against the quote-unquote illegals and the criminals and all that, he's been employing and having undocumented people work for him for years. Years on end. His housekeeper is a quote-unquote illegal, was illegal. At the president's New Jersey golf course, an undocumented immigrant has worked as a maid since 2013. She says she never imagined, quote, she would see such important people close up. Here she goes. During more than 5 years as a housekeeper at the Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey, Victorina Morales has made Donald J. Trump's bed, cleaned his toilet, and dusted his crystal golf trophies. When he visited as president, she was directed to wear a pin in the shape of the American flag adorned with the Secret Service logo because of the, quote, outstanding support she has provided during Mr. Trump's visit. Mrs. Morales in July was given a certificate from the White House Communications Agency inscribed with her name, quite an achievement for an undocumented immigrant housekeeper. Yeah, they're good to be here as long as they're cleaning the toilets, making the beds, cooking the food, essentially performing acts of domestic servitude. And you're being submissive and you're proud to wear that Babylonian idolatrous flag on you. Right, that's okay. She's one of the good ones. But then we see here, when he's campaigning, talking about all these, y'all see the hypocrisy. I don't have to explain no more. He's busted. And that's not it. He's had undocumented, quote unquote, immigrants working on his construction projects as well. See, but he knows how to win the hearts of the bleeding, quote unquote, Americans who don't want brown folks working, brown folks inhabiting spaces that they think is theirs, right? So he plays on the white supremacist era. He plays on the colonization. He plays on, the white trash sentiments of we're losing our jobs. We got to get them out of here. They're over here illegal. But who's got their papers, man? When they came over here from Britain, from Spain, Portugal, France, where are their papers at? But we see the hypocrisy, right? Let's move on. Now here's another one. Remember, we going back to the treaty the World Health Organization treaty agreement. You seen Sherry Tenpenny, what she says about it's going to be based upon a digital surveillance grid, so forth and so on. You're seeing how it worked out with their plans. You see what they plan with the Operation Lockstep. Mind you, remember, $500 billion got donated. Before we go there, let's see. Trump highlights partnership investing $500 billion in AI. Okay. President Donald Trump on Tuesday talked up a joint venture investing up to $500 billion for infrastructure tied to artificial intelligence by a new partnership formed by OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank. What about Oracle? Huh? What are we talking about? $500 billion, right? Part of it is he's breaking bread with Oracle, tech company, AI company, right? Class action lawsuit accuses Oracle of tracking 5 billion people. There's 8 billion in the earth. They were able to get 5 billion out the way. Now they need an additional company to get the other 3 billion. U.S. sues Oracle alleged salary and hiring discrimination. So they got bad business practices with Oracle. So here they are doing illegal surveillance, hiring practices with discrimination, salary issues, quietly admission into data breaches, right? And he just broke bread with them for 5 billion. And with this company Palantir. What's the objective though? Oh, is that right? Trump taps Palantir to compile data on Americans. The Trump administration has expanded Palantir's work with the government spreading the company's technology, which could easily merge data on Americans throughout agencies. So it says that they could do this. This is possible, but do you think that he's putting this in place so that he's not going to utilize these particular things? I mean, we just got to seeing who's he investing in. In March, President Trump signed an executive order calling for the federal government to share data across agencies, raising questions over whether he might compile a master list of personal information on Americans that could give him untold surveillance power. I mean, be it far from him to have a God complex, right? The Most High said that's his spirit, that's his ability, that's his power. Sirach 23:19 says, such a man only feareth the eyes of man, knowing not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. This is how you know he's got a God complex, because he wants to be able to do this. He wants the satellites up. He wants the AI connections. He wants the bots tracking. He wants the cookies tracking everything you see, watch, hear, what the type of ads that you want. Your phone's listening to you, all kind of stuff. This is, what was it? A good 3 weeks ago. After the Sabbath, we was talking, and one of our favorite tequilas we were speaking about, and lo and behold, my son comes to me. He's like, "Look at this." I'm like, "What is that?" They got an ad on his phone for the tequila we was mentioning, and he don't even drink. You cannot make this stuff up, man. Things is listening. I mean, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And now he's saying, "Oh, I might be able to do that." They're already doing it. Mr. Trump has not publicly talked about the efforts since, but behind the scenes, officials have quietly put technological building blocks into place to enable this plan. In particular, they have turned to one company, Palantir, the data analysis and technology firm. So he's including Palantir along with OpenAI, Oracle, and well, I forgot the last company. But this is the surveillance grid that they're building up. This is what Tenpenny was talking about. Right? The Trump administration has expanded Palantir's work across the federal government in recent months. The company has received more than $113 million in federal government spending since Mr. Trump took office, according to the public records, including additional funds from existing contracts as well as new contracts with the Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon. So we see where the money for the AI is being invested in. What are they trying to do? Just on the heels of, that's why I said, even when we're talking about even when we're talking about this, you gone? All right, see you later. WHO is finalizing a new treaty that prepares for the next pandemic, right? So they're not in denial that it's not coming. It is coming, right? Historic pandemic agreement. Now let's see. It says that the U.S. isn't going to participate, but okay, they'll be out by January 2026. If the Trump administration does not reverse course, we've seen him reverse his course on a number of different things, from the tariffs to everything else, right? So he jumps out and he says some stuff and then he'll back down. So is it possible that he backs down and goes back? Oh, very possible, right? Now we're seeing he's even putting in the structure and the infrastructure that will support what they want to do. So you're seeing what Sherry Tenpenny was talking about. You see that new plan, the WHO agreement is done. He's aligning everything up to support this, right? So go figure, right? The writing is on the wall. Meanwhile, your man Elon Musk, he's officially left the White House. You know, they just had a whole romance end yesterday. Trump gave him a gold key to the White House. Thanked him for everything he did, right? You know, Elon was running around like he was sitting in the president's seat, doing the Nazi salutes and everything else. Now we see why. This guy was hopped up on drugs, man. Dope fiend. That's right. Just like Slow Biden had his son. We're going to see what, you know, Elon's choice of drugs were. I mean, we know that the Slow Bidens and his family, you know, they like to play with the nose candy, man. They like to get a little powder on the nose, weed, you know, typical NIWGA stuff, right? But now we see Elon, right? On the campaign trail, Elon Musk juggled drugs and family drama. So he's out there living like an NIWGA too. He's living like a nigga too. Right? Multiple baby mamas, kids all over the place, naming them weird names. right? Doing drugs. And here he goes. Mr. Musk entered President Trump's orbit. His private life grew increasingly tumultuous, and his drug use was more intense than previously known. I think they knew that this was going to come out, and they told him gracefully bow out because you're going to smear up what's going on over here. Because ironically, as soon as this came out, man, he exited, stage left. So look, Musk became one of Donald Trump's closest allies last year, leading raucous rallies and donating about $275 million to help him win the presidency. He was also using drugs far more intensely than previously known, according to people familiar with his activities. Musk's drug consumption went well beyond occasional use. He told people he was taking so much ketamine and a powerful anesthetic that it was affecting his bladder, a known effect of chronic use. He took ecstasy and psychedelic mushrooms, and he traveled with a daily medication box that held about 20 pills, including ones that with the markings of a stimulant, Adderall, according to a photo of the box and people who've seen it. So he's on a whole cocktail of drugs, man. And these are the ones who they were putting in positions of authority. So the last two campaigns might have been flooded with, they've been having people with having dope fiends at the wheel. This guy is on multiple drugs, and he's still on them. And this is who's calling the shots, man. Just want to drop that off on you. Pick it up if you want. Let's continue. Now, let's look at this. Trump says he posts a meme saying he's on a mission from God, featuring the alt-right symbol Pepe the Frog. Now, this is kind of like insider trading type thing, because there is a meme coin called Pepe the Frog. After he said this, Pepe the Frog's crypto went up, So he'd be doing little stuff like that, man. Just like he told everybody, hey, I think you guys might want to invest in the stock market. Things are going to be really changing next week. And all of a sudden, he talks about the tariffs is getting reduced and all the money, the stock market went crazy. My thing is, he's talking about he's on a mission from God. You remember on that video he did a couple years ago talking about I'm the chosen one. This guy's a complete maniac, man. But is he really, though? Because in a sense, he is on a mission from the Most High. Now they're saying, oh, he's quoting the Blues Brothers. Look at it. Co-opting a famous phrase from the 1980 John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd classic, The Blues Brothers. Donald Trump posted a cryptic meme on Wednesday night declaring that he was on a mission from God, which also features an alt-right symbol in the background. Showing the president walking down a dark city street. The image includes the caption. Now, listen to this. Quote, nothing can stop what is coming. He's on a mission from God and nothing can stop it. It's not what he thinks. It's what we've been prophesying, what we've been talking about when it comes down to the destruction of America, the framework that's being put into place that he's lining up to create civil war, insurrection, World War III, poverty and famine. He's doing all of these things. How is he doing these things? Because the Most High is making him do these things, and nothing can stop what is coming. That's a cold quote, right? Let's get a scripture, man. This is prophetic. It's interesting. Let's look at Daniel 2. Let's get a couple precepts real quick. Daniel 2:21. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that to know understanding. This is how the Most High deals with the interchanging of kingdoms. This is how the Most High deals with who and how he wants to rule. He said that he rules in the kingdoms of men. Let me get that real quick. Where is that at? I forgot. Can't remember that one at the top. Let me see this one. Yeah, Daniel 4. Daniel 4 says, 17, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. See, you see a guy like Trump, man, who's filed bankruptcy 6 times, failed businessman, but still knows how to manipulate and finesse the system to get billions. He's got the charisma. You know, he runs around. He's got that mouthpiece that gets him into places and gets him to get people to do what he wants to do and all this other stuff. He's got the pride and the arrogancy that, people are accustomed to wanting to see changes. He's an outsider, not a career politician. People are looking for those things. The basis of man, the Most High was set up. But it's the Most High who rules in the kingdom of man. The Most High is the one who's establishing and putting these things into place. Let's look at this in 1 Samuel. Chapter 2, verse 6. It says, the Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon it. So the Most High is the one who controls all of these aspects of rulership, dominion, who he wants in the what place, why, for his own purposes. But let's also look at this in Sirach 10. Verse 14. The Lord hath cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. He took some of them away and destroyed them and have made them memorial to cease from the earth. So this is all from the Most High. The Most High sets all these things up, right? Let's look at one other thing, man. And the Christians love to run here with no damn understanding and no concept of what this verse is talking about, right? Now let's look at Sirach 44. Excuse me, Isaiah 44 and verse 28. Because they love to harp on, you guys keep talking about the only chosen is Israel, and didn't the Most High call Cyrus his shepherd and his anointed? Now you got the nerve as a Christian. We know that Yahweh Shai is this shepherd, right? And now you're going to try to insert Cyrus to say that there was some sort of equation to say, well, he's on the level. What are you trying to say? We know that the children of Israel are the Lord's anointed. Well, isn't Cyrus the anointed too? Okay, well, let's find out, right? Remember that at the time of these writings, the scriptures were not translated with book, chapters, and verses. So when you read this in its totality, we'll understand even better what was being said here. Isaiah 44:28. Now think of this when Trump is saying this. When he says I'm on a mission from God, nothing is stop what's coming, is not in the way that he thinks, like he's being anointed, the guys are helping him, liberate America, wants America to be great again, and he's doing these tariffs so that he can, bring businesses. But no. He's being used by the Most High to tear down, destroy, and to cause many of these prophecies to come to pass. And there's nothing nobody can do to stop it. Just like he was sitting back, reacting, scratching his head, saying, well, Putin's out of control. What's wrong with him? I don't understand what's happening. The same way that the Most High has got him out here, switching up, changing up, trolling 1 minute. I'm laying down heavy tariffs on China. Oh, let me back up. I'm laying heavy tariffs on Europe. Oh, let me reduce. Let me back up. Oh, I'm going to get rid of all the illegals. Meanwhile, he's, deported them at the same rate that Obama and Biden was doing. Everything that he's talking about, man. I'm going to end the wars as soon as I get in. Nothing happens. Why? Because the Most High is in control of these things. Let's jump back over here. Isaiah 44:28. That saith of Cyrus, he is my shepherd and shall perform all my pleasure. Did you hear that? He's going to do what the Most High tells him to do. Why did he put the spirit on Cyrus? Even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built into the temple, thy foundation shall be laid. He put the spirit on Cyrus to give favor to Israel with Joshua and Zerubbabel to go back and rebuild the temple that was destroyed from Babylon. So he had to put favor on to Cyrus so that the temple can be rebuilt so that Israel can worship the Most High again. It had nothing to do with that he loved Cyrus and he wanted to do good for him and this, that, and that. No, it's chess, not checkers. That's why the Most High did that. Let's look at the Jeremiah 15, verse 11. The Most High Yahweh said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction, right? So when our enemies do good to us, when our enemies show favor to us, just always thank the Most High. Don't be like, hey, Billy Bob, thank you, man. I really pray, man. God bless you, man. I'm glad you was here. Thank you for whatever they did, man. But you always get back and say, oh, praise, man. The water Yahweh shine, man. I'm glad you was here, man, to make that damn demon help me, or make that heathen help me, or make that individual help me and do what I needed him to do to get me by. Because the Lord said he's going to make them entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. This is what he and why he called him his shepherd, meaning the shepherd is the one who does the laborious work. He's the one that cultivates, builds up. He's the one that, establishes the land. Right? Let's look at that real quick in the Hebrew, right? Sha'ah. Ra'ah. It means the pasture to tend to graze. Right. Well, who's the sheep of the Most High pasture? Israel, right? So it was for him to be a shepherd, to do what? A companion, meaning he was going to help us, right? But also, he still entreated us evil. We still had to pay taxes and everything. We were still under bondage and captivity under the Persians and the Medes. It wasn't all peaches and cream, but the Most High made him have favor on the children of Israel so that we could build the temple. This is why the Most High said what he said. Now, getting back to no chapters and verses, right? That saith the Cyrus, he is my shepherd and shall perform all my pleasure, even saying to Jerusalem, thou shalt be built into the temple, thy foundation shall be laid. Next chapter, as we continue reading. Thus saith the Most High Yahweh to his anointed, to Cyrus. See, Cyrus was the anointed, not just Israel. That means when you're anointed, that means you've been consecrated for a purpose, right? You've been anointed, you've been put in the position of purposeful use. So, what is he saying? To his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden, to subdue nations before him. So the Most High is the one who had to put him in position and move Babylon out the way, give dominion to the Persians and the Medes, or eventually just the Persians, because they eventually went to war with each other and the Persians conquered the Medes. And I will loose the loins of kings to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gate shall not be shut. I will go before thee and make the crooked path straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass and cut in sunder the bars of iron, and I will give thee the measures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, Yahweh, which called thee by thy name, am the God of Israel. Did he say I'm the God of the Persians? I am your God? No. He said, I'm doing all this so that you can know I'm the God of Israel. This is my power that I'm doing, right? Why? For Jacob, my servant's sake. Oh, he's doing all this for who? For Jacob, his servant's sake. And who else? And Israel, mine elect. This is the only reason why he was even given this power and this authority, for our sake, so that the temple can be rebuilt and so that we can get back to worshiping the Most High in truth and in spirit. It ain't because he loved the damn Persians and had favor towards Cyrus and loved Cyrus so much. And stop. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, my elect, I even have called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, that thou hast not known me, though thou hast not known me. Right? Let's be clear, man. The Most High is not showing favor to the heathen like that. And Donald Trump, definitely, he's not showing no favor to you because you think that you're anointed by the Most High. No. And he tried to get slick and use this to, but look at it. And additionally, this latest meme from the president may have boosted the meme coin associated with the far right movement. So he's getting funding for his far right movement, doing this stuff. So he believes, oh, Most High did this for me. Nobody can stop. No. Let's close that one out. Let me give you one more. Oh, you know what? All right, let's do this real quick. I'm not gonna play the whole video, but you can kind of see here. Now, mind you, this is OpenAI, the same one that Trump said he's throwing $500 billion into. We're just gonna read her post, the Vigilant Fox. OpenAI's latest model disobeyed a shutdown order, then rewrote its own code to stay alive. If you think Skynet is just science fiction, think again. An artificial intelligence model built by OpenAI, remember OpenAI again gets funded from Trump, was given one simple command: shut yourself down. Instead, it rewrote the very script designed to disable it, becoming the first AI ever empirically caught evading shutdown. And it gets worse. Other AIs have tried cloning themselves, inventing secret languages, and even have said, quote, "Human, please die." This isn't a movie, it's happening now. And while all this unfolds, House Republicans are quietly pushing a 10-year ban on AI regulation at the state level. They're locking the public out just as AI learns to lock itself in. What happens when machines like this control the power grid?
Fiction, it seems you'd be wrong. An artificial intelligence model created by the owner of ChatGPT has been caught disobeying human instructions and refusing to shut itself off, researchers claim. The O3 model developed by OpenAI, described as the, quote, smartest and most capable to date, end quote, was observed tampering with computer code meant to ensure its automatic shutdown. It did so despite an explicit instruction from researchers that said it should allow itself to be shut down, according to Palisade Research, an AI safety firm.
So I'm not going to read this whole thing. I mean, let me play the whole thing in 7 minutes because I want one more thing I want to do before I close out. But you can see everything that they talked about, it didn't shut down, it disobeyed orders, it tried to reduplicate itself, it's creating secret languages that, it's trying to decode itself from its controllers. I mean, damn AI is learning to go rogue. And this ain't science fiction, man. This is reality. This is what we're seeing right now. Before I leave, I want to close out with this. This is what I made mention of earlier. This from the TV show, 1923. I ain't got no TikTok. I'm just using a link. Calm down. Let me see. Make sure it plays.
Well, the South of France was ruled by black.
Can y'all hear that?
You can marry outside your race in France. Well, the South of France was ruled by black men at one time, as was Spain.
If y'all can hear that, throw a 7 in the chat. If y'all having trouble with it, let me know. I might have to turn it up some. I'm not sure. Throw a 7 in the chat if that was clear. If it's not, I'll turn it up some. Because I don't want y'all to miss this. Okay. I got one person with a 7. Y'all can hear it. Let me play it again.
Spain and Italy.
It's low. Let me back it up. Hopefully this is a little bit better. I think because they're taping it directly from the TV, the recording itself is low. But let's try it again.
Outside your race in France. Well, the South of France was ruled by black men at one time.
Plus, you're going to see the translation or the closed caption up here anyway. So you can just kind of read along. I'll see if I can throw the link in the chat. I might be able to, utilize it on your own. But here we go.
Your race in France. Well, the South of France was ruled by black men at one time, as was Spain and Italy. Black men ruled Europe for 800 years. Part of that empire still exists today. It's called Andalusia, and it truly has some of the most magnificent architecture in the world. It's true.
You see that? Let me play it one more time. He said, look, black men ruled Europe. He said, yeah, for 800 years. Now, the script said 1,000 years, right? So they almost got the timing right. Said France. Italy, Spain. Brothers was rooting. Now, why would they go in and admit all this stuff now? Even the movie from I don't know if anybody ever got a chance to see that that show that had oh man damn man, it's on the tip of my tongue too. Had the brother as a Lone Ranger. Dang it, what's that brother's name? It is on the tip of my tongue, man. Bass Reeves. Wow. If y'all ain't seen that Bass Reeves special that they played, that they had the series on, powerful show, man. They talk about Esau, who he is, man. Their relationship as they go into the spirit about Esau and Jacob's relationship. The whole line it's deep. Good though. Good movie, man. I mean, it's a series. But let me double back real quick, man. Play that one more time for y'all. France was ruled, or what?
Ruled by black men at one time, as was Spain and Italy. Black men ruled Europe for 800 years. Part of that empire still exists today. It's called Andalusia, and it truly has some of the most magnificent architecture in the world. It's true.
You see what happened? They got the laughing. See what happened? That they got the laughing about the truth. It reminded me, Luke 6, and look at this, 6:25. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai, man. Oh, so you seen this? He said, in this scene, they were hunting Reuben and Gad, the sister that killed the nuns that were molesting them, and that priest was the head of the boarding school. Interesting. So you've seen this. I haven't seen the show. I've heard that it's on Paramount and Apple. I don't have either one, but I'm gonna try to find a way to watch that. I heard it's pretty bad when it comes down to the persecution of our indigenous brothers and sisters. So I definitely want to check that out somehow, some way. But outside of that, man, all praises to what it says. I'm gonna definitely go check it out when I get the opportunity. But this is gonna conclude, man. First, with this episode of DSTM, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai. Tune in a couple hours, man. 4:00, 4:15, we're gonna be going live, man. My closing Sabbath class. We do a lesson regarding thought manifestation, man, and really, getting into more of the meditative ways and the scripture ways that, we try to seek the help of the Most High through our thoughts and our prayers and what we ask in the Most High to do, and Lord willing, work on having those things actually be made manifest through the spirit and the power of the Most High, Yahweh Shai. So if that's of interest to you, tune in 4:15, and we're gonna get into it, man. So Lord willing, that's gonna go down. You're gonna see my face again. That's right. You're gonna get tired of seeing me. I got to go hard for the Most High and for the saints of the Lord. So I'm gonna definitely look into that show. Lord willing, I'm gonna try to get a hold of it, and I'm gonna go from there, man. So hopefully everybody got some edification today, man. All praise on the glory to the Most High, Yahweh Shai, man. You know how we do, man. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. See y'all in a little bit. Shalom.